This must have been expensive as hell, because I don't know who has the rights to his music, but they used a lot of his original recordings in this film. Biggie, I Got a Story to Tell. New Netflix documentary just came out a few days ago. So admittedly, I did not know that much about the life of Christopher Wallace, aka Biggie Smalls, aka Notorious B.I.G. Apparently he had to change it because the other guy who was known as Biggie Smalls threatened to sue him, so he started going by Notorious B.I.G. I will say Biggie has a very protective fan base in terms of how his story is told and the way he is portrayed after his passing. And it seems like early reactions, early feedback on this documentary, pretty positive. Positive reception for this documentary is great because it means a lot more people will see it. I hope that Netflix really promotes it strongly, keeps it in the trending tab and the top 10 or wherever they're going by now, because this is really, really well done. What we've got here is a story of Biggie from his rise through the world of hip hop to his tragic end. The creators of this documentary were able to interview his friends, his family, his managers, producers. All of these interviews were further proof that this was the way that those around him wanted his story to be told. I have to say, the interviews of Biggie's mom were especially powerful. I myself am a huge mama's boy. It seemed like Biggie was too, and he really, really wanted to give his mom a better life. That's another great thing about this film. They dug up so much archived footage and old photographs, and you really got a chance to hear a lot of Biggie's own words in his own words, and you got to see a lot of his past just through photographs that they had found, and it added a lot to the documentary's quality. They do a pretty good job of elaborating on pretty much everything that he had going on in his life, positive and negative. I think the most important thing though is this documentary did a phenomenal job of recreating the presence Christopher Wallace had in any room he was in, and all of his music really felt something special. He had such a massive amount of charisma, and you felt all of the emotion in his lyrics. They did a phenomenal job of putting this all together, really captivating that feeling. This story was told in such a powerful way. For a brief moment, I legitimately forgot Christopher Wallace was no longer alive. I mean, that's the mark of a really, really well-told story. You learn a lot about what Biggie wanted to accomplish. He wanted to be a kingpin. He wanted to have an empire. He wanted to go into Hollywood. He wanted to go into real estate. He wanted to go into his own music label where he was signing his own artists. He had some massive aspirations, and it only makes it more tragic that he was killed at such a young age. Now, this documentary is told in a really honest way, so they present you with all the facts, all right? They're not taking out any of the bad stuff that Biggie did in his life. If you don't want to think that he was a good person, or if you want to have a negative view of who he was and what he had to do in order to build a better life, you can totally feel that way. This documentary is not telling you to pick a direction. They just present you with what his life was as a whole. They reflect the person he was, positives and negatives. And from there, you can decide what kind of person you think he was. They don't omit any of the bad stuff, any of the drug dealing, any of the robberies, and they don't omit how much his music touched people's lives. So honestly, whether you're a diehard fan of Notorious or just somebody who wants to watch a good documentary and enjoys good music, this is well worth a watch. All of the interviews are so well done, and they were able to get in touch with so many people from his life, including his mom and his wife. Honestly, really impressed. Really, really impressed. This was so good. Also, this must have been expensive as hell, because I don't know who has the rights to his music, but they used a lot of his original recordings in this film. Whoever is in charge of those master recordings or whatever they're called, this could not have been cheap. I mean, no wonder Netflix had to foot the bill for this, because the budget alone spent on the music, man, there was no other way. I appreciate that they went out of their way to include so much of his original songs, because it meant a lot being able to hear them again. Currently, Biggie, I Got a Story to Tell, one of the best documentaries on Netflix. Highly recommend, especially if you were a fan of his. So anyway, that's all I got. If you enjoyed the video, leave a like, thumbs up, subscribe. If you want more reviews like this, I make new reviews every week. That's all I got for you guys today. I'm out.